I am now live. Again, this is another try, and we are going to get Chef Saira on this Instagram live so she can tell us all her kitchen hacks. I can't wait to learn everything. I know I'm telling you guys this all the time that I can't wait. Crunchy Mamas, I can't wait. Anything that makes our life easier in the kitchen is amazing. So Chef Saira is an amazing chef, and here she is. She's joining us again. And this time it's going to work. I know it. I know it's going to work because I can see she's coming in. And yes,
oh, yay!
There you are, Chef Saira.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today and
Thank you.
teaching us so much
for your
about
patience. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly and I can see you perfectly. Yes, I can hear you and I can see you.
Awesome. I had to steal my husband's Wi-Fi in the middle of his conference call, but hey, we got to do what we got to do.
That's right. That is completely right. I am so happy to have you here talking to us, and tell the Crunchy Mamas a little bit about your background, what you do. She's a mama just like us. You have two kids, right?
I have two boys, 14 and 12. Just a bit about myself. I have always grown up around food. Back in London, we had a pizza factory, so all conversation of food. And then moved to New York about 20 years ago. And really, I got into food after I had my kids. I just started spending a lot more time in the kitchen. And, from there, I went to culinary school. I did some food writing. And now I teach cooking classes here on the Upper East Side. And actually Zoom, so now international.
Oh, right. I know. Zoom has allowed us to go all over the place now, right? We're everywhere.
Correct. It's actually great fun. I'm teaching people in Dubai, in the Caribbean.
That is awesome. So tell us a little bit about, so you're a chef, but you're not a vegetarian chef, right? Your classes are not mainly vegetarian.
I'm not a vegetarian chef. I'm not sorry, was the question, am I a vegetarian chef?
Yeah, you're not a vegetarian. You teach any kind of food from all over the world.
I teach everything. Okay. I teach everything. I do eat a lot of vegetarian food. Being of Indian by background, by heritage, a lot of our cuisine is sort of built around vegetarian cooking and spices and that kind of thing.
And tell us about you being featured in the New York Times and the Food Network, TV Asia. That is so cool.
It was great fun. It's interesting because I'm not really competitive in that, when we were at school growing up and there were anything sort of competitively driven, whether it was sports or whether it was a project, it was just something that made me really uncomfortable. And then post culinary school, I get thrown into all these competitive sort of scenarios. So the Food Network was a show called Rewrapped, which was a new version of the old show, which was called I can't remember the name of the gentleman, but from Jeopardy. And so that was a competition on just taking iconic old American snacks, reinventing them. So that was with the Food Network. With TV Asia, again, it was personalities to come and judge it. And the New York Times article, which was really close to my heart, being British, as a lot of you may know, there's a very large of British, really fun and, sort of lampooner with local produce, seasonal produce. And so that was Times, and they wrote about it.
Oh, so cool. I love it.
Thank you.
So tell us about these kitchen hacks that you want to teach us for, you know, all the crunchy mamas who are curious to know how we can make our life easier in the kitchen. I don't know if can you guys hear Chef Saira? I can't hear you so well. Can you guys hear her? Again, it's circling. No. I don't think we can hear you, Chef Saira. Oh, can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Now I can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
We can't not hear you, I think.
What I was just saying is cooking really off-putting to head, and okay, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. I found really helpful to me, particularly.
Yes, it is going in and out. Your voice is going in and out now.
Kids running in and out and needing snack and needing.
Your voice is going in and out, and then it keeps circling. I don't know why. The internet and its mysteries.
What I have access to. I have a fridge, I have a pantry, I have a freezer. How about now? Is that better?
Now I can hear you. Again, it's your voice went off.
Yeah, you can hear me? Okay. Hard to tell, but I'm going to check my phone in case. Okay, now.
Yeah, we can hear you now. It's still circling, but I can hear you. Can you guys hear her?
I don't know why the connection's spotty. It's strange because I don't usually have an issue with it. Ugh. I apologize, guys, friends who have joined us.
We'll fix it. Let's see. Maybe it's the reception. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, it's circling again. It starts circling, and then we can't hear your voice, and your face pauses. It freezes. She left. Let's see if she'll come back, and then, I mean, she's gonna come back, and then she's gonna start over. I think she's gonna check her connection. And I mean, it's true. We are in the kitchen with the kids coming in and out, snacking, and we're trying to make dinner, and we're trying not to, you know, take too long with dinner, or else they're going to start snacking and they're not going to eat the healthy things we're going to make for them. So I'm really curious to know all these kitchen hacks, and I'm really excited. I can't wait. I want to learn. I want to learn for my dinner tonight. I can't wait to apply everything that I'm going to learn tonight already. Because when I learn something new, I want to do it right away. I love it. Let's see. I think it's going to work. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Is that better?
There you are.
Okay. So I guess, so I'm sorry, we were at the hacks. Okay.
Yes.
So, you know, the way I look at this is my kitchen is my toolbox, and I really need to maximize this toolbox, because when I go into the kitchen, I don't want it to feel like a mammoth task, which especially during the lockdown has felt like it's just been 24/7. So how do I approach it? You know, my fridge, my freezer, my pantry. So my pantry is my best friend, because it's not really relying upon refrigeration or kind of temperature controls. So I can really kind of think about that. And then I look at my freezer, and again, that gives me a longevity. And then my refrigerator, I actually try not to overextend what's going on in there, because there's always leftovers, and especially when you sort of live in New York City, where real estate, you know, you have to be really selective about what you're going to put on your countertops, what you're going to put in your fridge.
Right.
It's very real, by the way, as you probably know from being in New York.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, for my pantry, my shelf stable, I'm a big fan of dried grains, because I think there's just so much you can do with it. I mean, you know, if you take a can of beans, for example, and you think of the real estate that takes, and now you take a bag of beans in which you have several cans, but it's taking up a fraction of that space.
Right.
Brilliant. So, you know, love my beans, love my grains. Of course, great for stews, but also great for sautés, stir fries, even sandwich fillings, you know.
Oh, with beans, yes, quesadillas.
Absolutely. You know, and so sometimes even if I'm making Indian food and I've got leftovers, I'll stuff it into a tortilla. By the way, that's become another favorite of mine. Not just for, of course, for Mexican food, but, you know, even for non-Mexican food. And, you know, recently I've been putting everything from the kitchen sink to whatever's in my refrigerator. It's really a wonderful vehicle to stuff things with. So I've been making samosas, and I've been teaching a lot of those in my cooking classes too. Yes, and you know, it's such a burst of flavor. So if you've got some tortillas, you've got some leftovers, you throw in some freshly sliced onions, some green chili, cilantro, you transformed it. And now you've got, you know, a fun snack, or even a fun dinner. I mean, I'd be very happy to eat that in front of my Netflix. And, you know, so, you know, those are, you know, so for me, the pantry is important. Another thing I love in my pantry is all kinds of pickles, all kinds of brined goodies. So I love my preserved lemons. Of course, wonderful for a quick Middle Eastern fix. So it can go into all kinds of salads. A small piece can go into a stew, and it just adds this delicate fragrance that just permeates. So that's
you said do you pickle your lemons? That's what you said?
I'm too lazy for that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I buy
it's just the fresh lemon. We don't have no pickled anything.
Oh no, so these are preserved lemons. They're salted, and you buy them in jars. And even the brine, you know, I don't like to waste. I'm kind of stingy like that too. So even the brine will get cooked down into into a base, and maybe I'll put something to turn it into a vinaigrette. Maybe it's going to go into the base of a stew.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the brine, sometimes people just throw it out, and you can use it until the last drop, right?
Absolutely. There's such good flavor in this. It's totally underestimated.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love it. Love it. All these tips. Oh my gosh. So everything that's left over, we basically can use in to make a samosa or to make a tortilla, because like I love samosas, but I don't know how to make a samosa, and I'm crazy about it. Is it hard, or you can use any kind of dough?
No, so I love that you asked that question, because this is a no dough samosa. So I'm lazy. I don't make my dough. I buy the tortilla, and I basically make a glue of cornstarch, for want of a better word, but it sticks it together. But cornstarch and a bit of water, and you literally cut the circle into a semicircle, and it becomes intuitive. Like you turn it into a cone, you fill it, you know, you glue the seams, and you fasten it, and you can either fry or bake it.
Oh man, I love that. So you make samosas with flour tortillas, or can it be done with corn tortillas also?
I haven't done it with corn because, and
Okay.
I haven't tried it, and I don't know because corn has a graininess in the tortilla, so I've not seen
Right.
that done. But a lot of my clients are, gluten free. They observe
Right.
gluten
Right.
free, and so they've used the cassava tortilla and a
Mm.
bunch of other ones that are available in the market, the cashew tortilla, and they sent me pictures, and they look
Oh,
heavenly.
I
They look great.
love that. I am going to do that tonight. I have so many leftovers that I can stuff and make and I like to bake. I don't like to fry.
Yeah.
I don't like the smell and I don't like it's not very healthy for me. But that is,
Yes.
wow, cassava tortillas. I'm gonna buy that because I only
Hi,
have
Christina.
the corn. You're right. The corn is very grainy and maybe you'll not get that taste that we want, but the cassava is perfect.
The cassava's
Tell,
great. And yeah.
tell us more.
No, so, tortilla's one vehicle. Fried rice is another one. I love to, so another, for me, staple in my pantry is curry powder.
Okay.
And I use this for everything but Indian food. It's used extensively when I'm doing something Indonesian, I'm doing something Malaysian.
Mm.
I love to make a crab fried rice, or of course, you could go vegan with it.
Uh-huh.
And that's where my curry powder comes in handy, and so do all my leftovers. They just
Oh,
get
wow.
thrown in and kind of revived with
That's,
a nice hot searing pan and
mhm.
curry powder and some sesame oil. Oh, another good one is sesame oil. So
I'm gonna write that down right now. Sesame oil, curry, and tortillas.
curry,
Always have in hand.
yeah, and sesame oil since you're writing it down.
I'm taking notes because I am a food nerd. I love everything and I take notes because also I don't remember most of the
Yeah,
stuff. So sesame oil, curry, tortillas, beans, always have beans in your pantry because you can use them for everything.
yeah.
Okay.
And sesame oil is great to throw into a marinade, to throw into, again, a stir fry, even to throw into a dressing with a bit
Wow.
of mayo and sriracha. You feel like, okay, it just transformed what I'm
Right,
about to eat,
right.
you know.
That's
So I'm a big fan of kind of using these ingredients, and I have no issue even with kind of incorporating certain pre-made um, elements, because it's just helpful. It helps you get there faster. And
right.
I think the key for me when I'm organizing my pantry and my freezer is this sort of sense of globality, if that's a word,
Mm-hmm.
because right, as of late, we've not really been able to step out too much.
Right.
And this really evokes that sense of travel without travel and just being in your home, but kind of feeling not limited, just feeling like I'm going to make my world feel vast right now.
Right.
And,
You can't go
so
out
that,
for dinner. You can't go to New York, all the amazing restaurants you have in New York, but you can bring the international food into your kitchen.
exactly, exactly.
Wow. So that's really cool. So how long does it take for you to make like a meal like that? Like, because, in the kitchen, sometimes we can spend hours. So if we don't have a lot of time, can we do this in 20, 30 minutes?
So for me, I think that's a great question. Me pre sort of, I'd say culinary school, and this is something that culinary school taught me. It would take me a lot longer, and I'd perseverate and I'd overthink it and I'd read my steps several times over. And I think one of the biggest skills I learned, and it's become a life skill in so many other areas,
Mm-hmm.
is kind of create a mind map of what you're about to do, because you will move much more efficiently in the kitchen.
Right.
It's almost like a meditation. Like all of a sudden, what you need to do becomes really clear to you. And there's an economy of movement, which is helpful in the kitchen because, you've got a plan and you're sticking with it.
I love it.
And, and there's something concrete that's going to come at the end of this plan.
Right.
So, I certainly, even with the whole lockdown, I've been making some really interesting new dishes. And I think what's really helped is being super organized with my pantry, with my freezer, which, I'll share a few things that are helpful in kind of getting that organized. And then just sort of having a couple of the right things in my kitchen, like my microplane and a nice wide pan, I
Okay.
feel like there's hope.
That's great. Yes, I think organization is key in the kitchen. If
Yeah,
you're not organized, you get really overwhelmed quickly, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of the freezer, some of the things that I love to have prepped, I always have a bag of, so this is where I may ask you for an alternative. I always have Ziploc bags of grated ginger. So I'll take 5 pounds of ginger and I will put it through my food processor, peel it and throw it into my food processor. And then I'll create these sort of flat Ziploc bags, large ones,
Okay.
so that I can then create these flat sheets. And every time I need a piece of ginger, I'll just break a piece off because it comes off really easily than to freeze it as a solid mass.
Uh-huh.
And, I have ginger ready to go. I'm not having to now deal with that extra ordeal of
Right, right.
peeling and right before cooking.
Yeah, grating ginger is something that I get lazy to do.
Yeah.
I get really lazy and I love ginger, and I get really upset if ginger goes bad in my fridge when it starts getting moldy. So I didn't even know that I could freeze the ginger. We can freeze it
So
after you grate it.
yeah, exactly. And I don't even grate it anymore. I just throw it in the food processor. And I do a bunch at a time, and it freezes really well, retains
Oh,
its
very
flavor.
nice. And the juice and everything retains. Oh,
Everything.
wow, that's a great tip. I don't know if you guys cook with ginger. I cook a lot with ginger. For me, ginger is like my natural remedy for a million things. For my
Yes.
stomach, for my throat, for everything, for colds, and when sometimes your lungs, you're not breathing so good. I just love ginger. So that's a great tip to keep it in the
Yeah,
freezer.
absolutely. And for the reasons you just mentioned, particularly in the springtime and in the fall, you want to load up on it because it just sweeps through
Right,
you,
right.
So,
It does. It does. It cleans all that sinus, everything that you have. I love ginger. So, okay,
yeah.
so ginger is you keep it in the freezer, you scrape a little bit off, put it in your meals, and then put it back in the freezer. And you were saying about the Ziploc bag. We have, yeah, we crunchy mamas like the silicone bags that you can also
Okay.
freeze and use. It substitutes the single-use plastic. So
hmm Okay,
that's
so that's silicone bags.
silicone bags, yes.
Okay.
That's the crunchy mama tip here.
Thank you. That's what it's all about, right? It's an
Right.
exchange of,
It's so good
ideas
to,
that are helpful.
but tell us more, Chef Saira. We're excited. So we have the um,
So we have the frozen ginger.
frozen ginger, the staples, the sesame oil, the curry. Curry is enhances any flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a quick sort of flavor enhancer. It just adds some
Right.
oomph right away.
Uh-huh.
Um, I also like to buy bunches and bunches of cilantro. Now,
Okay.
again, pre-lockdown, I would have turned my nose up at it. And I think the nice thing about the lockdown is it's taught me personally, don't be too quick to dismiss things.
Right.
And actually, you know what? Cilantro can freeze well, because I always had this thought that no, it loses too much flavor. It's working just fine. I've been using it. I use it every day. Again, chop it. And again, in the silicone bag, just kind of lay it flat, because then you're kind of individually freezing the grains. Once it's frozen, then you can lift up the bag and put it back in the freezer properly. So it's not,
Okay.
chilies.
So you said the grains, the cilantro grains, it's not, so cilantro is not the leaf, it's the
No,
grain.
sorry. So it's the cilantro leaf, and I chop it up.
Oh,
But
okay.
if I freeze it in a clump, it becomes really hard to work with. I've got to then start defrosting some of it, like the ginger. If I do it in a flat bag, it almost individually freezes the particles. So it's easier for me to take out what I need and put the rest immediately back in the freezer.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't want that to defrost. You want to keep what you're using, and then you want to immediately put back what you're not using in the freezer.
So for the cilantro, do you wash it before you freeze it? You wash it and then you dry it, or do you just wash it and you don't have to dry it, you just freeze it?
In the ideal world, I do wash and dry it. So if my kids, if it's a Monday to Friday kind of thing when they're in school, I will wash it, chop it, and just throw it onto some trays and leave it on my dining table so it dries some of that excess moisture off. But you know, sometimes time is not on your side, and you know, things are busy, and then I'll just kind of put it into the bag and flatten it.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so cilantro, we have like so many meals already. Cilantro, we have sesame oil, we have ginger, we have beans, and beans can be anything, right? Chickpeas, because what I used to be really like hardcore. I only cook from scratch. I cook my own beans. I have my pressure cooker, and then I was not even using the pressure cooker, and cooking was taking so long. And now, since we had the COVID and things, we couldn't find a lot of things. I started buying at Whole Foods those beans, pre-cooked beans and chickpeas in water. So they don't even have salt. It's just in water. And that has saved my life. I've been doing, like, beans go a long way in my house too, like you said.
Oh, I bet. And there's sustenance to beans as well, which is what makes it a fulfilling meal. So if absolutely, I think that's a great idea. And even things like a dip is just never that far. If you wanted to throw a dip together, especially the pre-made beans, I mean, I would say pretty much all varieties would work really well for that.
Okay, so wow, so we have so many meals in like 10 minutes of conversation. I love it. So you teach, how do we find you on your website and on your page? And how are your courses? Do you teach every day? Is there a waiting list? How is that happening right now?
So currently with the current lockdown, I'm teaching on Zoom. And the reason I took those classes to Zoom was really to create community, an outlet, especially for a lot of us moms who are really doing a lot of the heavy lifting in a very silent way. Yes. And so I feel that the Zoom class has become an outlet for us. It's some me time. Right. There's really no, I would say up to 30 people, because it just allows me to be attentive to the interaction and the questions. The best way to find out what I'm teaching is on my Instagram. I'm a bit more right now up to date on Instagram versus my website. Okay. So that's Chef Saira, and even Facebook, it's Chef Saira, and you can reach out to me from there. But again, my cooking classes are very much with the perspective of how do we get in efficiently, get it done, have fun with it, and not feel like, okay, that was crazy, that just took too long and that just took up my whole evening. Yeah. Because that's not fair, it's I feel like we're doing so much, and so yes, it's nice to have a great meal at the end of the day, but not at the cost of feeling exhausted. Right. Right. And we don't even have that much time anyway. So your classes are how long? They're my Zoom classes, they're slightly different to my regular cooking classes, where we do a whole menu. My Zoom classes, it's one dish. It's pretty much like a meal, like a one pot kind of dish. And they're about 45 minutes, but that's including Q&A and just sort of interaction. That's a pretty quick class. That's great. Yeah. And so it's fun. Some of my clients cook alongside me, and some of them observe and take notes and then make it in their own time. Oh, okay. Yeah, I took a cooking class on Zoom, and I tried to cook with the class, but then I couldn't take notes and I couldn't pay attention, and I forgot some processes. So I think that's a great way to do it. Oh, nice. That is so awesome. Anything that we should have in the kitchen or in our fridge or in our pantry, or even any tools that could always come in handy? I love my microplane in terms of tools, because it's the grater, but it gives me a really nice grind on my garlic. It's actually one of the least technologically advanced pieces of equipment in my kitchen, and I love it the most. Do you have it handy to show us? Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna hope not to lose you as I move around. Right, yeah, the connection. But that's okay. Let's see. It feels like Instagram's being kind to us right now. Yeah, it is. It's helping us. So here's my microplane. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
But it's
Nice.
great, you know, it's kind of long and it's great because it
Uh-huh.
gives you a really fine mince on
Okay.
garlic, particularly. It's also great for lemon zesting.
Mm.
Since we're in my kitchen, I'll just show you. So here's my ginger.
Oh,
They're flat
cool.
seeds.
Love it. Do you
Now,
do that in the food processor or with the hand, with the microplane, the grater?
oh no, food processor. I'm much too lazy to use a
I
microplane
know.
for my
Yeah.
ginger.
Yeah, to grate
I do
all
use it
that.
for my turmeric though.
Okay.
My fresh turmeric. And then again, another thing I love is an assortment of fresh chilies. So these are my Thai bird chilies. I've
Okay.
got some chopped, I've got some whole, I've got some of the red serranos that are also used in Thai cooking. I'm really
Uh-huh.
into Asian flavors.
Yes, I do
Here's
love it.
my bag of cilantro. So as you
Oh,
can see,
very
it's almost
nice.
like a, you know, the whole benefit of freezing things flat.
Uh-huh.
When I was saying that it individually freezes the grains, meaning it's like a bag of chips.
Right.
So I can just literally grab the handful that I need.
It sounds like a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. I love to see your kitchen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're looking at her kitchen.
It's really not very aesthetic right now, but that's my red curry and green curry paste, which I cannot live without my Thai pastes.
Uh-huh.
I have miso somewhere in there, which I use extensively, both in Asian but also in my Italian cooking, actually.
Oh,
and so purists, I apologize, but yeah, it's really nice. It's got that umami, that meatiness.
right.
That really adds that depth of flavor. So
Very nice.
coconut milk. Sorry, now we're on a roll.
So miso with Italian food. I mean, I have Italian and Indian background also. The funny thing is we have the same last name, but we're trying to find some family in our you know, we have to find out. Somebody must be
there has to be someone, right?
Must have something in common. But I never use miso for Italian cooking. That's so interesting, Chef Saira.
Yeah. I do a carbonara, a vegan one, and a meat-based one with the pancetta, and I use miso because it basically, for me, I use a combination of some Parmesan, and in the vegan-based one, I don't use any Parmesan. It's just the miso, and it does the trick. It's delicious.
Which miso do you use, white or red?
That's actually a great question. Thank you. It's the white one.
White miso. Yeah, because the red is very strong.
It's strong, and that fermentation is really strong. And the white one is a bit more delicate. And it gives you that mouthfeel that cheese gives you.
Right. That is awesome. I can't wait to take a class because I'm going to enroll today.
Thank you.
Miso with Italian food, for me, this is a huge surprise. And I love miso because it's like the probiotics, the fermentation is so healthy. I try to have miso soup at least once or twice a day, to tell you the truth. I love miso. I love miso soup. Miso soup for me is like something I like to have all the time as a snack.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's wonderful. That's actually a great idea to even switch it out. Some of us like to have a hot beverage.
Right.
Of course, some like it for the caffeine, but some just need that hot beverage. At least I'm one of those people. And that's a wonderful idea to have miso in a mug.
I always have it in my fridge. I mix it with water. Sometimes I put the algae, you know, the seaweed. Sometimes I put tofu. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? It's just going to be water and miso because it's my probiotic for the day. Yeah. And, you know, instead of kombucha, sometimes I just don't want the sugar. I don't want anything sweet. Oh my gosh, look at this. A health coach and a super chef talking, and we're learning so much. I'm learning so much from you.
Thank you. I'm also learning from you, and I really enjoy following Crunchy Mama Box. And I actually do recommend. I'm seeing a lot of my friends and clients on here. Actually, my clients are my friends. I really encourage you to go follow Crunchy Mama Box. There's some really interesting.
Thank you so much. This was a great chat, and I took notes of all the ingredients you told us, and I can't wait to start experimenting with your tips and tricks here that you taught us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's take a little selfie when we're smiling, both of us, because I try to get a. It's it's not happening. It's okay. I'll take one later. Thank you so much, Chef Saira.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely being a guest. Thank you.
It was so nice. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.